All right, let's talk about something that's the literal backbone of almost every industrial operation, the electrical system. We're going to dive into an upgrade that all starts with one simple but really critical question.
So, what do you think? I mean, it's probably not the giant stamping press or the vats of chemicals you always see in the safety videos. Nope. It's something way more common, something that's probably hiding in plain sight all over the facility.
And here it is, outdated electrical connections. We're talking about the plugs and outlets that power everything. They are, without a doubt, the silent hazards in factories everywhere. They're basically a relic of a bygone era, and believe me, they are responsible for way more accidents than you'd ever guess.
Now, this is not a small problem. A huge chunk of the U.S. electric grid is like 40 to 70 years old. That is way past its original design life. And that old, creaky infrastructure creates a whole bunch of problems right inside our workplaces, starting with some pretty sobering statistics.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we see an average of 150 workplace fatalities from electrocution every single year. That is a heartbreaking tragedy that just keeps repeating itself, week after week. But here's the stat that's truly shocking. It's who is at risk. A staggering 74% of these deaths happen to workers in non-electrical jobs. Think about that. These aren't electricians. They are the machine operators, the maintenance crews, folks just trying to do their jobs, using equipment they rightly assume is safe. It's a massive red flag that the old way of connecting power just isn't cutting it anymore.
So this is where a little bit of innovation makes a huge difference. The solution isn't just a slightly better plug, it's a complete and total reimagining of how we connect power to our machines.
Okay, so on one side you've got the old, traditional setup, a separate plug, a separate receptacle, and then that big, clunky disconnect switch on the wall. But on the other side, you've got this switch-rated solution. And it brilliantly combines all three of those functions into one single, compact, and, frankly, much smarter device.
So what is this thing exactly? Well, a switch-rated plug and receptacle is an all-in-one device that, and this is the key, lets you safely plug in or unplug equipment even while it's running at full power. This is an absolute game changer for both safety and efficiency on the factory floor.
But how does it actually pull that off? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engineering that makes this kind of safety even possible.
You can see the difference right away, can't you? On the left, you've got your standard clunky pin and sleeve connector, but on the right, well, you see all that internal complexity of a switch-rated device? It looks more advanced because it is more advanced. It is jam-packed with safety features that are just completely missing from those older designs.
Your first line of defense is this little marvel, a dead front safety shutter. The second you start to unplug the device, this internal shutter automatically snaps shut, completely walling off the live electrical contacts. What that means is it's physically impossible to accidentally touch a live part. It just eliminates a whole category of shock hazards right there.
And the second piece of genius here is how it handles the most dangerous moment, when you disconnect. A tiny internal arc flash chamber contains and completely snuffs out any electrical arc in just 15 milliseconds. Now, for perspective, it takes you about 100 to 400 milliseconds to blink your eye. This device kills a dangerous arc flash before your brain could even process that it happened. Wild. So, when you take all this clever engineering, what does it actually mean in the real world? Well, it translates into some really serious advantages. It's not just one thing. It's a true triple threat of improvements. First off, the leap in safety is just enormous. We're talking about a potential 100% decrease in arc flash incidents. Plus, they give you a clear visual confirmation that the power is off. And the ability to physically lock the plug out for maintenance, that's built right in. It just makes your safety procedures so much simpler and more intuitive. And the gains in efficiency are just as impressive. Facilities that use this tech are reporting up to a 50% drop in the time it takes to change out equipment. Something that used to require a specialized electrician and maybe a couple of hours can now be done by a trained operator in just a few minutes. I mean, just think about what that does to reduce costly downtime. And believe it or not, it even saves you money on your energy bill. See, because they have these amazing spring-loaded silver-nickel contacts, the electrical resistance is super low. And as you can see from this chart, that makes them 5 times more energy efficient over 5 years and a whopping 30 times more efficient over 10 years compared to those old pin and sleeve models.
And hey, you don't just have to take my word for it. Listen to this project engineer, Arlen Wingate. He said he loved that this design combines everything into one piece. He said it not only costs less, but it eliminates one more thing to go wrong. It's just a simpler, tougher, more robust system.
Okay, so the benefits are crystal clear, but how does a facility actually, make the change? It might seem like a huge undertaking, but the way you implement this is actually surprisingly practical.
You've really got two main paths you can take. You can go for a full retrofit, basically upgrading the entire site at once during a planned shutdown. You get all the benefits immediately, facility-wide. Or you can take a more flexible, phased approach, where you start with the highest risk areas first and then modernize over time as your budget allows.
And the upgrade itself? Surprisingly simple. You can use these pre-assembled cables called pigtail whips to convert a piece of heavy machinery to the new system in literally minutes. You just disconnect the old hardwiring and connect the new plug. No major rewiring or anything.
And for that phased rollout, these custom adapter cords are an absolute lifesaver. They let you plug your new, upgraded equipment into the old, legacy outlets. This means you can keep everything up and running smoothly while you gradually bring the rest of the facility's infrastructure up to speed. It's a perfect bridge from the old system to the new one.
So when you put all of this together, it becomes pretty obvious that what we're looking at here is a brand new standard for how we do industrial power connections.
Here's the big takeaway. Moving to switch-rated technology isn't just swapping out a part. It's a real strategic decision. It's a commitment to fundamentally rethinking workplace safety, to killing downtime, and to building a more resilient, more modern, and more competitive operation from the ground up.
Look, the technology to get rid of these hidden dangers and unlock massive gains in efficiency is here. It exists right now. So the only real question left to ask is your workplace still wired for the past, or are you ready to get plugged into the future?